Hello, welcome back to YouTube in relation to Kingdom Creative Connected Collective. So, what are we talking about today, you guys? Facebook. The enigma that is Facebook. Facebook is our love. Facebook is our hate. Facebook is something that we have yet to figure out. And every time we seemingly think that we figured it out, they done did something else and done twisted it up again so that now we don't know what we doing, right? So now we gotta figure it out. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna figure out Facebook. Facebook is a community of faces. What are you trying to do? It's not like TikTok. TikTok, you do a bunch of streaming video footage and everybody loves you. Facebook, you have I want to call it correctly. It's like Facebook. They like Facebook Reels to a degree. And you have those. You have the ability to write posts. You have the ability to share photos. You can create communities on Facebook. There was a huge, when I tell you a huge craze around doing challenges on Facebook. The first challenge I ever saw done was done on Facebook back in 2015. It was a young woman who created a group called Do You Boo. And when she created that, it's a challenge in there that she did for 15 days. And she brought a whole bunch of people together in this community. To this day, people still are in that community. And we're, 9 years later? So you have to know what you want to create on Facebook. What is it that you want to, with a knowledge of what you're desiring, want to create on Facebook? Understanding that the algorithm constantly is changing. They only allow the algorithm to stay the same anywhere from 3 weeks to 3 months. What do you want to accomplish with Facebook? Do you want to build a community? Because Facebook's good for building collected communities. Creating Facebook pages and groups that when you're on Facebook, when you create these Facebook pages and groups, you need to have an intention for what it is that you're trying to create. Meaning, once you've determined what you're good at, what you want to do, you need to create a group or a page. If you're not ready to engage with people yet, but you want to just create the blog content, create you a Facebook page. Start putting the content out so that you get comfortable with posting content. Facebook has meta business that you can set up Facebook pages and groups that you can schedule posting on these pages and groups. Hashtags actually still work on Facebook, but you got to be careful of the weight of your hashtags, meaning I don't want to put about 15 hashtags on Facebook. You might want to put 3 to 5. You might want to integrate your hashtags in your blog posts. From a bloggers, this is good for you. You can put a blog, if you're a podcaster, put a blog up. Now, I got a trick for you. If you are one of them people that are like, I'm going to take the transcript from my podcast and turn it into a blog post. I took a course on blogging SEO. They tell you, do not create blog posts of your straight transcript. This is what I'm going to tell you to do. This is when AI can be friendly to you. You wrote the post, you created the content on that podcast, the transcript was you, right? You take that transcript of the written out transcript and convert that in ChatGPT into a blog post no longer than, 3-4 pages? Maybe 5 pages? With sectioned and headers. Drag, drop. It'll condense it and it'll format it for you. Then take that wonderful little blog post and drop it over top of your podcast, because what happens is when you create a podcast and say, I want to share this link on Facebook, they're going to have a little section above where you share your link for your podcast on Facebook where you can write something. Drop that blog post right above it and then have the link to the podcast. See how that works? And if you're a podcaster, this is how you work. Catch to that, then you start looking up communities, if you have a podcast, that are in relation to what it is that you're podcasting. Either you're looking up podcast communities, you will find networking opportunities in these podcasting communities. That when you find these networking opportunities, because they'll allot you, certain groups will allot you to drop in your podcast. You drop that article that's attached to that podcast. That way people can read what it's about and figure out, I want to look into this podcast. Then you can drag and drop it, get you about 4 or 5 groups where you can drop your podcast. Figure out the days that they allow you to drop your podcast and drop it. And you will get more followers. You'll get people starting to re-engage with your content. So, what else did I have? You can create a targeted campaign on Facebook, because there's such a thing as campaigns, and you can do this. I would suggest, it's funny, go do some research on how what's his name, Chance the Rapper, created his campaign for his music. I want you to look at how he did that, and I want you to think about how you would do that and convert it into a Facebook campaign for whatever your subject is. I don't care if you're selling candles. It's not about the thing. It's about the format. When you understand the format, you can sell anything on that thing. You can do collections, collaborations. If you're in community groups on Facebook, you can collaborate because you're in the group. If a person asks a question, you respond to it. They might be like, hey, I want to collaborate with you. Think it ain't happening to me? You can do interviews. When you do challenges, you can go back. I remember I did a challenge way back on, I was participant in a challenge that took place on or for LinkedIn. And when I did that, I ended up getting about 15 connections on LinkedIn. And I was able to then, and what I always do is I write a letter back to my connections or networking things, and I follow everybody so that I can come back at a later date. And if I need to pitch them, if I need to do whatever it is, that's why you do a campaign, in order to help properly set people up. And you want to make sure that you're having a proper meeting of the minds, and you're getting the right people in these groups, meaning you are creating content that attracts the people that you're desiring to attract with the proper traffic. This is why you like and should do Pinterest posts. Now, what I will tell you is if you're a Facebook person and you love Facebook, you're on Facebook 24/7, 365, that's your platform. Go to Facebook, have at it. If you're not a Facebook person, maybe you want to create your own blog, but I would suggest you do create a blog simultaneously with all the posts that you're doing on Facebook. Why? Because if anything goes wrong with your Facebook account, they want to shadow ban you. Any kind of foolery, the algorithm starts acting stupid. You have a place that you've stored all of your content that you can link back to, and then you can promote both links, your Facebook link and your website link, on Pinterest. That way people are able to find you in either place. Anything happens to one, the other one's still there. See how that works? So I'm going to come back and we're going to dig into YouTube.